Hi and welcome, I'm Andy Mioch and you are watching Context. A day ahead of the proposed Russia-Ukraine direct peace talks in Turkey, the European Union approved the 17th package of sanctions on Moscow, targeting its shadow oil fleet. Europeans are threatening further measures if Russia doesn't agree to a ceasefire with Ukraine. France today urged the EU and the US to expand sanctions in a way that would suffocate Russia's economy and force Russian President Vladimir Putin to end the war. Now, the Kremlin said a delegation will be sent to Istanbul, but is still refusing to say whether Putin himself will attend the talks. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said yesterday he plans to wait for Putin in Ankara with the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, adding that they will travel to Istanbul if the Russian president chooses to hold the talks there. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump, who earlier suggested he might join the talks, told reporters en route to Qatar he is thinking of going. About the talks, prospects for a ceasefire, sanctions, and support, we're talking with Rudolf Mihovic, CEO of the Christian Medical Association, coming to us from Lviv. Welcome, thank you so much for joining us. Now, let's start with the format of the talks themselves. The Russians are still not saying if Putin will be heading their delegation. What are your expectations here, and how much could talks without the heads of states accomplish?
Thank you so much for having me. First of all, I don't expect a big peace negotiation or ceasefire. Obviously, if Putin would like to have a ceasefire, he would do it on Monday, as it was offered by US, Union, and Ukraine. So basically, what he wants to postpone negotiation, deal, whatever. He doesn't want to stop the war. He has his goals, obviously, and he's trying to find as much as it possible timing. Because let's say obviously we could have a meeting on Tuesday, Wednesday, why Thursday, Friday? What is the point? So he just waiting a time, teasing all international community. So maybe he will come. But I think there is not going to be a deal, and there is not going to be definitely a ceasefire or peace.
On the ceasefire leading up to the possible talks tomorrow, we've seen a series of moves on both sides, with the Ukraine proposed ceasefire being countered by Russia's offer for direct talks, and then Donald Trump urging Volodymyr Zelensky to come to Turkey and suggesting he might join. What do you make of such rapid developments in the last few days?
I think Vladimir Zelensky already tired from all of those red lines that West, particularly Trump or European Union, put it in front of Putin, because we are listening the whole time. 1 day, 1 month, 100 days, the war will be stopped, but it's not happening. And obviously, Zelensky already sick and tired of these talks. We're going to finish the war, we're going to finish the war. And he sees the picture clearly that Putin doesn't want to stop the war. So he wants that Trump obviously saw the picture in the same way. So, and we can see by Trump comments that he's telling like, I'm sick and tired of it. You're going to have to make a deal, or I'm out, or he's going to make a different decision like sanctions or more military support to Ukraine. So I think it's already real. I very hope that it's already real red line that Putin will cross. And Trump has to have, as a man of the world and man of the power that he wants to be, he will make a sanction or increase weapon support to Ukraine.
Well, speaking of red lines, Europeans have threatened Russia with further sanctions if it doesn't agree to a 30-day ceasefire. Their deadline passed. We've seen a new set of EU measures has been adopted today, but there are calls by France and Germany to step up these sanctions. How much would you say that these sanctions, the new ones, the expanded ones, can affect Russia's intentions?
It's a good question, and we already thought from Putin's comment that he is ready. he said that we already had sanctions and we survived. It's again a glimpse that's showing that he's not ready to peace. So I think, unfortunately, the Europe is quite weak. Let's see on their communication on Monday. Like, we threaten you, Russia, to stop, to have a ceasefire. You have time until midnight. You have 12 hours, or we're gonna make decision. And they were threatening to Putin. And in the end of the day, it was a joke. And they said, okay, let's wait until Thursday. And then they're gonna say, let's wait until Friday. Um, so I think, unfortunately, Europe is still hesitating. They couldn't make a proof to give support to Ukraine for 40 billion military pact that they were voting last month, and they didn't make it. So I hope that Europe will stand up and make more clear decision, because Russia is basically making fun of them. If you're going to watch Russian TV, you will see how Solovyev and other propaganda workers, they are making fun of European leaders, that they have many red lines and threatening to Putin, and Putin is like a brave leader and making fun of strong German, French, and British leaders. So obviously, Russia is not afraid of new sanctions, and they are ready to work on that. We can see that um, Iran, Iraq, North Korea, they survived under huge sanctions, and Russia will do the same. They will find a way, a new way, to work with China, with India, and other countries who will not put sanctions. So I don't expect that those sanctions. And if you will go to a sanction list and read them that they offer to put on them, on Russia, you will read that those sanctions are not very strong. Again, a little bit more energy, a little bit more pressure on countries who are buying oil and gas, but nothing dramatically that will stop trading with Russia.
Well, you spoke on the Europeans. Let's head a bit to the east. What do you make of Ankara's revived mediating role here, following those first talks just weeks into the full-scale invasion? Would you say that this is the best choice of venue, having in mind Turkey's relations with both countries?
I think Turkey, Recep Erdogan, took a position like in the middle. He obviously supported by military supplies Ukraine. Bayraktar saved Ukraine, and other supply still goes on, not so loudly as the European Union or US supply, but still they supported for a long, long time. Still, at the same time, they trade relationship with Russia increased in 100 times. So I think Turkey became like in the middle, trying to have relationship trade and having economy benefits from Russia, but at the same time having a strong position that Ukraine has to be sovereign. Crimea is Ukraine part, not talking even about other occupied territories. So I think regards other territories like European Union, US, maybe China, Turkey kind of is the most neutral because China, India, or even Saudi Arabia, they are more closer to Russia, and Turkey, they're more in the middle.
You've mentioned China. We've heard Brazil and China issuing out a joint statement supporting the direct talks, with the Brazilian president Da Silva saying he would push Putin to take part in the talks with Zelensky. Do you see such signals to Russia from fellow BRICS members perhaps contribute to the peace effort?
Yes, we heard about Brazil offer and conversation with Putin, but still, I'm pretty realistic. I very like examples. Let's say you are in World War II and you having a call from Argentina to Hitler administration, and they're telling like, please stop. Will he stop? No, he's not going to stop. He already built a system that created with hate and war machine. So it's very hard to stop. You cannot just, okay, we are stopping, give up, peace, and etc. It's not going to happen just because Brazil asked or even China. They are, and again, it just talks. They are asking, but at the same time, China is supplying to Russia huge amount military support for drone, trade, economy support. So yes, they are talking, publicly asking Putin for a ceasefire, but as it said, let's look at deeds, and their deeds are obviously opposite.
Now let's talk about the situation on the ground with the invasion now in its fourth year. What is the general sense in Ukraine when it comes to those difficult topics, when it comes to speculations on territorial concessions being mentioned even by members of Trump's team?
Yeah, we are tired because this is the fourth year of war, and you cannot be not tired. People are dying, you have less men, people are leaving because it's hard to live all the time with even with such cities as Dnipro, Odessa, Kharkiv under constant fire. We have a lot of, this year we had more civilian death than all previous ones. Last month, especially when Trump started peace negotiation, Russia launched a huge amount of Iran drones to civilian buildings that cause a lot of losses. But still, we are not ready to give up. If terrorists came to your house and occupied one room, it doesn't mean that you have to give up on this part. We can stop, have a ceasefire, not to fight, but still a message of President Zelensky is clear. We will not approve and agree on annexion of other Ukrainian regions. Many people died because of that land. And it's not right to negotiate with terrorists. So when we are listening Vitkov that he has a problem with 5 region and Ukraine constitution, it's quite problematic. I don't think that we are having right direction conversation. Because when you have a terrorist in your house, you're not telling that it's your problem. It is a terrorist problem that he's in your house. And if we're going to give a real message to international community, you can come to other countries, occupy territories, and with time we're going to prove it, it's going to destroy the peace in the whole world.
And finally, do you think that there can be any substantial peace talks while the hostilities are still going on, if there is no ceasefire?
I think Zelensky made a clear red line that he's not going to have a peace talks until ceasefire. Trump made the same statement, and European leader, they made the same statement. So I don't think that they're going to do it. Again, we don't know. We saw the weakness of Western leaders. So this is the biggest question: will democracy be strong again?
Rudolf, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insights and opinions.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. That's all we had for you in this edition of Context. Stay tuned to A News.